Hey, fellow realtors, we're talking about exclusive listings. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Listen to this episode. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year to everyone. This is Rob Golfi with Remax The Golfi Team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show, Niagara edition with host Tim Dennis.
New Year. We got 2024 in front of the address for the show this week, and the holidays are done, kind of. I mean, there's some leftovers, but generally the season is kind of over now. How was yours, Robert?
So it was a great break, but our Christmas kind of got spoiled with some flu bug that was going around. Yeah,
you and ours too.
Yeah,
wow.
So it was funny. So my wife got sick on Christmas Eve. I mean, we were fine, everything was good, and then she was like she. We knew that we couldn't have everybody over because she had like some flu bug. And then I was fine until Christmas night. So basically Christmas Day was like a wash. There was no dinner, nothing. Yep. We had a turkey ready to cook. We didn't even cook the turkey on Christmas Day because we were, my wife was sick. And so we're like, we got to get this turkey cooked eventually. So we ended up cooking it on Boxing Day. But guess what? I got sick Christmas night. But because my wife was sick, nothing was going on. I went to the office and worked at the office all day, cleaning up the office. I got, that.
Now there's a Merry Christmas, Rob.
Yeah. People are going, people are driving by, say that Golfi doesn't stop working. He just keeps going. That's it. But I spent my Christmas Day here at the office and just cleaning up the office, getting rid of, like all that excessive paperwork that you have around that you haven't looked at in years, and and stuff like that. So that was a cleanup, and then Boxing Day. So I got that was Christmas Day. So because I was healthy Christmas Day, but Christmas night I started getting sick, and then so I was out for the count on Boxing Day, and then the 27th. I was feeling a little better, but not that great. I went to the office a little bit just for about 3 hours, and then I went back home. Kind of took it easy the rest of the day, and then after that I was fine. But otherwise, it was the first. I'll tell you, it was the first Christmas in my entire life since the day I was born that I didn't have a get together with the family. It was the first one, and this bug went right through. Like everybody, I knew everybody that was either sick or knew somebody that was sick, but it went through everywhere. Like this bug, this was a
gastro bug because we had it. We got together Christmas Day and we had, I don't know, about 22, 23 people. And within 24 hours of that get together, people started to get sick. And eventually 20 out of the 22 people were down for the count for 2 or 3 days. So It just went through the family, one right after the other. Kids, adults didn't discriminate. It got everybody. Yeah. And then the other thing is I got 2.5 renovations going on. We got our St. Catharines office. It's almost done outside. We're just waiting for the windows and doors to go in on the exterior windows and doors. And now we're just starting on the interior. So it's going to be a beautiful building. If you drive by on 76 Lake Street in St. Catharines, gorgeous building. And then also I ended up buying a building that we're renovating at the same time in Grimsby. 8,700 square foot building there, and looking forward to that being one of our major offices also. So we're expanding and working, and I got so many different so many things in the fire, and it's just like you got it's hard to manage everything because I like, just for instance, the one day the guy put the granite in on one of the properties at our Burlington office, and they made the sinks wrong. So the kitchen sink for the basement was put up on the main floor for the bar sink, and they switched it. And I'm going, it's almost like I gotta be there, right? Like it's, and then the drywall guys, like on the property in Burlington, they drywalled over all the plugs, the holes, and everything that we need to run stuff, and we're trying to guess where it is, and it's just, what I mean, like. I don't know. Where did I get these people from? I don't know. So anyway, but otherwise, the numbers for Niagara, it did take a bit of a dive,
but we're pretty well matched up. The 2023 year is pretty well almost matched up to what 2021 year is. So, and a lot of people did buy houses in 2021. And they felt they probably overpaid for it, which they, you know what, they did pay in a high market, but it still climbed in 2022 in the first half, but then it took a nosedive in the second half of 2022. And now it looks like we're on track. Everybody thinks, oh, they're sitting and waiting. They're waiting for the market to drop. It's not going to drop that much, I'm going to tell you. I truly feel that if you end up, and there's still time now that you can get some good deals out there. Depending on the realtor that you have, I'll tell you, that does make a difference in how strong your realtor is. But there's some good deals out there, and if you're selling, and if you truly believe that that's the value, if the realtor has the experience, like, it will sell. It will sell. Like, for instance, there was one in Niagara Falls. We were getting low offers on it. We listed at 900. We're getting 820, 850 offers. Nobody was jumping close to the number. And I'll tell you, Tim, I knew that house was worth 900. I knew it, and I'm saying it. And my client said, Rob, we're sticking with you. And I said, if it doesn't go now for 900, you will get it in February, March. So just hang in there. I told him that when we first listed it. I think it was the end of November that we listed it, and I ended up getting $890,000 for it. And we had like 4 or 5 offers, and they were all low offers. And I'm like, I was second guessing it myself for a little bit, because I'm going, well, wait a minute, maybe, everybody's coming in around the same number. But I ended up talking to this one agent, and he was from out of town. And this is the great thing about dealing with out of town agents. They don't want to come back and show their clients' houses anymore. They're done. They don't want to come down that Queen Elizabeth way, bringing their clients in, going through all that traffic. Because if they're coming to Niagara, that's a half day or more trip. And that's quite a bit. Like, that's quite a bit. So I ended up telling this guy, look, if you guys don't want to go with this, then don't bother me anymore about this house, trying to break me down on trying to get a lower price. I go, then take your clients and keep showing them houses that they want, that you can't find, because I know this is the right house for them, and this is the right price. I says, I priced it. It wasn't my clients that priced it. And I says, you can keep driving down the Queen Elizabeth way and lose 4 hours to 6 hours every time that you come down here. I says, hey, that's going to be a lot of fun. I go, you guys, if you guys want to work in Niagara, you guys going to have to pay the price to come out this way. And we got the offer accepted. And the clients are very happy, and he doesn't have to come down the Queen Elizabeth way anymore unless he gets another Niagara client.
Wow. So, I mean, is anybody in Niagara, whether it's Fort Erie and Grimsby, and anybody showing any signs, or is everybody just kind of sitting, waiting for February, March to hit?
Yeah, so Niagara usually hits a little later than Hamilton when the market starts really picking up speed. So it hasn't picked up yet in the Hamilton, Burlington area yet, but when it starts picking up, you could almost guarantee 30 days later, that's when Niagara starts picking up. So that's a good indicator, and I will mention it on the radio here to let everybody know, say, hey, listen, Niagara's picking up. If you want to get your house on the market, that's when you need to do it now, because a lot of buyers are in the marketplace. Right now, there's a lot of people still on vacation from Christmas vacation, and people took this week off. I think the kids are off school this week too. If I'm correct, they're off work off school this week. So you get a lot of the parents are just taking it easy. But I'm hoping that things will start picking up towards the end of January. But if you look here, it shows here Pelham. Now these are benchmark prices. This is like true numbers. It's based on. They get rid of all the high-end homes and the low-end homes, and it gives a benchmark price. This is a true the numbers that I gave you are the true numbers of what the benchmark price is. Now, if you go average price, you can get a $10 million house that's sold, like 3 of them, and it'll increase the average price. So, but this is the benchmark price. So, Fawn Hill, Pelham, benchmark price was $844,700. Now, the benchmark price in 2021 was $832,500. And so it's almost like it's pretty close to the same. But in 2022, obviously, in the first quarter, 2022, the numbers were strong. It was 900,500. But let's skip over to we'll go to Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, and Welland. In Niagara Falls, the benchmark price for the year of 2023 was $625,000. The benchmark price in 2021 was $624,700. Now, in 2022, it was $700,000. So, I mean, it's adjusted itself. So if people think that the market's going to take a nosedive of 40%, it's settled. It's just going to hover between 3 to 5% up and down. Now, if you go to St. Catharines, the benchmark price is $599,000 in 2023. 2022 was $660,000, so it was $60,000 more. But the benchmark price in 2021 was, again, $599,000. It's the same. Yeah. Welland benchmark price for 2023 was $575,000. 2022, it was $625,000. It was about $50,000 more. And then back in 2021, it was $562,000. So there we have it, guys. We did have an adjustment in the price, and and you can't go wrong buying real estate. I think in the first half of 2022, if you did, but if you look at this, so let's say the average price is benchmark price is $625. If you bought in 2017, which is less than 10 years, and in 2017. Or even 2016, house prices have doubled. House prices have tripled if you bought in 2014, almost.
Yeah.
Okay? Same thing. So 10 years, house prices have almost tripled in 10 years. But in 2017, it's almost doubled. So there was a segment there that, and I'll tell you, and it's going to happen again. House prices will double. I don't think they'll double by 2026, 27, but I do feel within 10 years they will more than double. But I think within 2 years to 3 years, you're going to see a huge increase in benchmark price in all areas, Niagara, Hamilton, Burlington, even throughout the whole southern Golden Horseshoe in Ontario.
So everybody's feeling this right across the country. It's not just Niagara. It's been the topic of conversation for everybody that I know in the real estate business. When's it going to pick up? When's it going to pick up in Niagara? Is it picking up in Toronto now? Is it picking up in Hamilton now? There are signs, but it's just slow, right? It's people are expecting too much too fast.
They are. And, if we look, in 2021, they sold over 10,000 homes in Niagara. Okay. In 2023, it's only 6,000. We're 40% down in unit sales.
Right.
Okay. Not price, but unit sales. We're 40% down. And I think it's going to, and we've never been down like that. Like it's been almost 2 decades. So it looks like it's reshifted itself. Buyers are going to come in slowly, and a lot of them are sitting on the fence and waiting. I don't know why. Like, I know the interest rates is a factor, but listen, just go variable. Just go variable and then lock in once they drop it. Like, this is the time. Like, if the interest rates go up towards the end of this year, the middle to the end of this year, house prices are going to start climbing fast. So, like, you can lock in and get a house right now at a lower priced house, and lock in at a mortgage rate. Like, just do an open. Do a 1 year open, or do a variable, and just ride it out, and then boom, lock in when they drop the prices, drop the interest rates, and then you benefit both. You benefit with a lower interest rate at the end of the year or even next year, and you benefit from a lower priced house instead of waiting for the prices of houses going up, which it's going to be a lot more than what you're going to pay on interest.
Heading into 2024 in Niagara, and a business that was hit hard by COVID and all kinds of other economic factors that came out of it. But where are we at right now? Well, we were talking just before the break about getting into a mortgage, whether it's variable, fixed. What do you do? Now, we're all watching the interest rates, hoping they're going to come down. And everybody's been forecasting that they probably would. Now, does that necessarily mean cheaper houses, Rob, if the interest rates come down?
No, it's gonna drive the interest rates. It's gonna drive the price of houses going up. It did it last year, even though in the springtime we had a tremendous amount of activity. But then, obviously interest rates were going up. It did slow things down in unit sales, but people still needed homes. Right now, it's going to be like, this is like a constipation that we're in right now. And I don't know if it's the right word to use, but right now there is people just waiting and watching. So every month, a new group of people are waiting and watching on top of the people that are waiting and watching now. So it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So what's going to happen is, once things start coming down, you're going to start seeing a trickle of people coming in, starting to buy. But then they're going to do another price drop, and they're going to do it slowly because they don't want they don't want houses to sell 100,000 over asking. I don't think that'll happen for a long time. But what's going to happen is there is going to be competition. And it's just gonna cause a thing. Now here's the thing: the government has to drop the interest rates because builders aren't building houses, and we got immigration happening in this country, and they need to build houses. And that's why there's going to be an influx of people just jumping in at the same time buying these houses. So we need to start doing that. And the government, I mean, these guys, I mean, I get what they're doing. They're trying to slow down inflation. It's expensive out there. Life is expensive out there. And it is so expensive. You can't even go out to dinner, just dinner for two, without spending like $150-200. It's not like, even Swiss Chalet's not cheap anymore. You got it, you got
I'm too young for that, so I don't know.
There you go. But what I'm saying is, life is expensive, and right now what's going to get hurt is the economy is going to get hurt. All the companies, the Amazons aren't doing the business they did. The restaurants aren't doing the business. I talked to a lot of restaurants in the last quarter of last year. I'm telling you, they're saying, hey, we're not doing the business that we're used to. And first they had COVID that kind of killed them, and then and they survived that. Now they got this situation with inflation that's gone so skyrocket that people are saying, hey, I can't afford to go out for lunch or dinner anymore. I have to brown bag it and bring a lunch and stuff like that. But people will hold on to their money, and they do want to have home ownership. Home ownership in Canada is big. It's like it's almost like if you're in your 30s or 40s and you say, hey, if you don't own a house, it's kind of like, oh my God, I feel bad, right? I feel for those people because they didn't have the opportunities. They didn't get the chance because all the money that they made working had to go into paying for rent and groceries and life, you know what I mean? And there was hardly any money left over for them to even save to put a down payment on a house. And I get it and I understand it. But I do feel that the middle to the end of this year, things will change, and builders will start building again. Buyers will start buying, and they're going to do it slowly. But we need to build 1.5 million homes, and that was like, what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago that they said that. We really haven't even touched the surface of that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years from now. Like it's going to be crazy. So hang on to your real estate. I'm telling you right now, don't sell it. Hang on to it because you're going to see another boom happening within 2 to 3 years.
Exclusive real estate listings. Now, you hear that term thrown around all the time by people. This is an exclusive with us, or we have exclusive listings here. And the general public may or may not know exactly what exclusive listings are and how that might be changing in the next little while, Mr. Golfi.
It's actually already changed. You cannot put a house. Let's say a realtor says, hey, let's put a coming soon, and it says coming soon for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's really an exclusive listing. Or they put exclusive. Basically, they're saying only their agent that listed it can sell, which they're changing the rules because the consumer didn't really know when their agent was really saying to them, hey, we're going to put exclusive. We're going to put my network of people onto it, and then we'll try to sell it. I think in a really great market, having an exclusive listing is terrible. So if your agent's saying, let's put an exclusive listing for 3 weeks, you basically eliminated like the entire world, the entire market, all the buyer pool that's looking for a house online. They're not going to see your house. They may say they have it on social media, but their social media only goes to a certain, circle of people that they have. So, and if that person that had their house listed with the agent that had an exclusive listing, and the person didn't see that house, he probably would have bought it. Maybe would have paid more money, or maybe it would have been in competition. So I truly feel, to me, a lot of agents like this. A lot of agents don't like this. If they're hearing me talk right now, hey, listen, that's my opinion. I understand if you don't respect it or accept it. Hey, listen, that's why everybody's different. But I truly feel that this is good for the consumer, and I like it. It's good. I mean, there was sites out there that had exclusive listings. Now, in a bad market with an exclusive listing, I think it's okay to do for a little bit, but you still need the market. You still need the Realtor.ca. You still need that. So, and a lot of agents were doing these exclusive listings, and they were doing open houses. They were trying to sell it themselves. They were trying to sell it before it can go on the open market. But the thing is, did that seller really get the true value for their house? Maybe they could have got more money if they did put it on the open market. And a lot of these realtors, they were trying to double end, as they say. They were trying to list it and sell it. They tried to bring their own buyer in, and they were doing open houses like crazy for 3 weeks to a month. And they really hurt their sellers. They probably could have got more money for their house if they didn't do a 3-4 week exclusive. So I truly believe in this.
Do you remember 2 years ago, you and I would sit here doing this show, and we talked about the technology for seeing homes virtually and remotely, and you were just touching on open houses. And we wondered 2 years ago whether or not open houses would ever come back, and whether or not they're still the best way to show off a house. Well, here we are now, 2024. Are we back to where we were prior to the pandemic in terms of open houses? And for people who are selling and having a rough time right now, is it still the best way to show off your house?
It is, to a certain degree. Now, open houses are back because sales were down, and agents needed to do things to get these houses sold, and the consumers look and say, hey, I need you to do an open house on my house. Some consumers don't want that. They don't want strangers walking through the house that aren't even thinking about buying a house, but just because they got nothing to do on a Sunday between 2 and 4 o'clock to walk through their house and comment on it and whatever. But we do open houses, and open houses are I think just as strong as they were before COVID, just because of the fact sales are way down, and agents need to try to, they're trying to do everything in their power to get that house sold, because the seller is getting frustrated because they're not selling.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I often wonder whether you're a guy who's been in the business a long time. Are they the best use of an agent's time? I mean, that question comes up for people I know in the business. Sitting here all day, is it the best use of my time?
I'd say 75 to 80%. The agent's doing the open houses to pick up buyers, so it's like a storefront for him.
Right.
He's got 10 people, 10 families walking through, and out of the 10, maybe about 2 or 3 of them are actual real people that are really looking for a house. And but when they're really looking for a house, it may not be the neighborhood they're looking in at that house. It may not be the price point, because once they walk in, they look in, okay, no problem. But that agent will try to pick up that person as a buyer or a seller on selling them something else. That is really a lot of it is. Now, houses do sell from an open house, but the percentage is very low, very low. The proper way, high-end homes, it's by appointment only. We will not do an open house on a higher-end home, because you'll get a traffic jam. People want to see it. But we just say by appointment only. And now the nosy person that has got not even thinking about buying a house, is not going to call a realtor saying, hey, I want to see this house, because the realtor is going to say, hey, okay, well, I need to know your name and I need to know where you live. And I need to, like, we're going to gather information about that buyer. We want to know they're a qualified buyer. We're not going to just get up and show them a house and walk through somebody's house and then find out these people can't even afford this house or not even interested in buying a house. They just wanted to see the house itself. And it happens. We do get the odd person. We call. I remember one lady, one time she called me up about a house, and I knew she wasn't interested in looking at this house. She was just interested in seeing another century home. And I said to her, I go, I like, and the only reason I knew this because I knew who she was. And I can't remember her name. And I said to her, I go, why do you want to go through this house? Well, I just want to see it. And I go, but like, you just moved into your house that you have, and like, you're not even thinking about selling. Well, I just want to see it. I just want to compare it to my house. And I said, no, I'm not showing it to you. And I said, it's a waste of my client's time, and it's a waste of my time. And she was a little bit, puffy about it. Now this happened about 10 years ago. You want to know something? This lady's still living in her house. She hasn't even moved. So I was, and now if I did not know her, like, I knew her as a person, that owns that house, and a lot of agents knew who she was because she's booking appointments all throughout the town. But if I did not know her, and I probably would have tried to qualify her, would I have picked up on that she was just nosy versus seriously looking at it? It's hard to tell. But now the way the new rules and everything that are out there now, and somebody wants to look at a house, there's a lot of questions to be asked. We ask, who are you? Are you working with anybody? Where do you live now? How long you been looking? What is the criteria? Where, like you almost have to meet with them first before you can show them. And a lot of people won't want to go through that if they're just nosy. They'll just say, oh, no, it's okay, forget it. But if they're serious about buying a house, they will answer all those questions. They'll sit down with you. They'll give you all the information you need because they want to buy a house.
In our neighborhood, there were 2 for sale signs that went up a little while ago. And one went just like that. Like, before the end of the week, there was a sold sign on it. The other one has been sitting in the same spot for quite some time. And you can even hear neighbors talking about it. Gee, I wonder what's wrong with that place. What's going on? Why is that not selling at all? How long do you leave a sign up? Well, not just a sign, but how long do you leave a home for sale before you start to think, well, maybe better do something, drop the price, take it off the market, put it back on? How long do you let it go? Because this one's been sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, price is probably a major issue. Maybe the condition of the house. But if, for instance, let's say the house is priced right, but the market is quiet. Now, we had a dormant market in the late fall last year. Like, it was dormant. Even if you had the house priced right, you weren't selling it regardless. So, and you have to be very careful. And my job is, I would say to the homeowner, and like this one I sold on Westport. I said, listen, the market's dormant right now. You will sell in the new year, but I'm just letting you know, like, it's priced right, and we don't have to change the price. And let's just stick to it, and we got to write out the market. And if you're willing to write out the market with me, I will sell your house. And we did. We wrote out. We actually ended up selling it, and but everybody was coming in with low offers. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that were selling, and their agent convinced them to take that low offer. But if they had the time to wait, they could have. They would have got a lot more money for it. And that's how much of it we're talking 50 to almost maybe $100,000 difference. Like, that's like depending on the price point that you're selling at. So you got to be very careful on the markets when you change price. You got to make sure the market is, if it's active, yes, you got to change the price. If it's dormant and quiet, just hold off and see when the market picks up.
Let's talk about some things going on in the business which have caught your eye. I know there was a story this week about a lawyer who had his wrist slapped, or maybe even a little bit more for that, for taking advantage of a neighbor. Um, I know a lot of people get concerned when they get all kinds of people involved in their real estate cases. They got to have lawyers. But what happened in this particular case?
Yeah, this lawyer was living on the street. A neighbor was looking at selling, and this neighbor had dementia.
Now,
And
hold on. But when you say the lawyer was living on the street, let's back up a little bit. He was living on that street. He wasn't living on the street.
Right. He was living on that street. You're right.
I don't know
You're
a
right.
lot of lawyers.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's not too many lawyers living on this. I gotcha. So anyway, so this lawyer, neighbor, was looking at selling. And the lawyer said, "Hey, listen, I'll buy your house." And they came up with a price. But the person had dementia. Now, when a lawyer or a realtor buys a house privately, you have to indicate that you're a realtor or a lawyer and all that kind of stuff. Now, the seller of the house is dependent in thinking that, hey, you know what's going on in the market. I'm going to take your advice, and and you should be professional and say, hey, here's what your house is worth. This lawyer didn't do that. So there was a difference of $300,000 of what the real value was versus what the lawyer was going to pay. And so anyway, somehow this lawyer realized it, and then somebody started investigating it, and the lawyer started, deleting emails and just trying to get out of this because he knew they were in the wrong. And so you got to, this lawyer is going to get suspended, or if not already suspended, because they were not somebody you can trust. And you're supposed to trust your lawyer. You're supposed to they're supposed to be ethical and honest. And this lawyer wasn't ethical and wasn't honest. And for instance, even myself, when I'm buying a property, a lot of people go, if I listed the property myself, I got to go through a lot of hoops and just to make sure that everything was done right, because they say, hey, if Rob Golfi's buying it, it must be a good deal. A lot of people say, hey, if he's buying it, you must have sold it cheap because he wouldn't buy anything. And that's not the case. A lot of times I overpay for properties just to make it clear. Now, for instance, the one property recently I purchased, the last two, one was listed by a commercial real estate agent. I wasn't the listing agent. And I called him up. That's the one on Lake Street. Now, it's sold. I got beat out in competition, and I wasn't changing my price. So anyway, they didn't firm up on the deal, and they were always asking for extension. So I called the agent up, say, hey, if this deal doesn't come together, you call me. They called me. We put the deal together. Not a problem. I was representing myself. But that seller there, that used to be the CAA on Lake Street, CAA office, they had a representative themselves. So there was no corrosion or anything like that. Now, the second property, I knocked on the door. I talked to the guy. It was a commercial property. I said, I'm interested in buying your building. Are you thinking about selling? A week later, he calls me up. Yeah, he goes, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, sure, let's talk about it. So during the time, we didn't talk about price. I says, I had a price in mind that I felt that it was worth. So I went and paid $3,500 for an appraisal to get done. So price wasn't mentioned. So I don't know, I could pay $3,500 and this guy might have a bigger number in mind. So the appraisal came in and it came in, what I thought it would. But to me, it was worth more. So the owner, between the appraisal price and his price, there was about maybe a $300,000 difference. I came up $150,000 higher, a little more than $150,000 higher than the appraisal amount, right? And I was happy. He was happy. We got the deal done. Now, that was a third-party, unbiased opinion that came up with the appraisal. In the event anything happens, I can say, "Hey, listen, I had this appraisal done by Colliers. They're a commercial real estate company, so that it keeps me out of any trouble. Even what if I bought it at the appraisal amount and I didn't have an appraisal? He can come back to me and say, "Hey, I think I could have got a better deal on that." But I try to eliminate that by getting an appraisal done and that there's no circumstances. Now, this same thing happened to a realtor in Cambridge before COVID. And he hit the front page of the newspapers in Cambridge. Like he had a lady, she thought her house was worth, I don't know, $300,000. It was really worth $600,000. So he's puts an offer together for $300,000 with his parents' name on it and put it in his parents, and then this thing, once it hit the lawyers and everything, it just went crazy. And then in order to clean up, he was trying to say, okay, you can get out of the deal. Too late. You already got this deal done, like before it closed. And he tried to clean his mess and try to get out of the deal, but it was too late. The lawyers were already involved. And he hit the front page of the newspapers trying to, swindled buying a property. So you got to be very careful. Always get a second opinion on everything, especially if you're you're looking at selling. Get a second opinion. And if the guy is interested, if the realtor is interested in buying the property that you're looking at selling, definitely get a second opinion, get an appraisal done, because obviously that realtor, that lawyer sees that you're probably selling it a lot cheaper than it should be. So always get a second opinion, even if it's a lawyer. And you should trust your lawyer, and that's why this lawyer's getting his wrist slapped.
Wrist slapped, yeah,
for sure.
What is a FlexPlex, Rob?
Yeah, so this thing here is a FlexPlex is this guy's come up with this company or idea of building a large house on a property, and it's set up in a way that you have one front door, right? Just like it looks like a regular residential house, but it's got either 2 or 4 apartments in it, and
built specifically for 2 or 4 apartments rather than having build one big house and then eventually trying to carve it up.
Yes. And now because we have such a shortage of housing out there, the cities and municipalities are saying, we're good to go with this. You can build it, no problem, which is ideal because if somebody, this is perfect for somebody in their 50s to do it. And because they could probably have kids that are just getting married, and they need a place so they can live in one apartment, and then you can rent out another apartment, and you've got 4 apartments. It helps pay for the real estate. And these real estate, these FlexPlex, they're ideal. They're better than the 4plexes that you've seen in the old north ends of St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, or wherever where there's the big 2.5 stories. You got 3-4 apartments in there, but these are built that way, which is, the front looks like a regular single family, nice big large house. In the back, you have your fire escapes and everything, your little patios on each level, which is fantastic. I think it's a great idea. I think parking is going to be an issue if they don't have enough parking in the driveway. So basically your whole front lawn is going to be a parking lot. So you're not going to have the lawns and stuff like that unless you got parking on the street. But we're getting into this. This in the course of our life right now, opportunity is opening up for a lot of people. You can now buy and turn maybe a house into a duplex, or you can turn it into a 3plex, apply for the zoning change if you can get that. You can build them. You can build, duplexes, 4plexes on properties in regular residential neighborhoods. These properties, I'll tell you, they generate income. They are good properties for investors even down the road to buy. So when this guy, whoever builds these houses, they're in demand. People people want properties that have cash flow. And if you got these FlexPlexes, which could have 2 to 4 units, you've got cash flow. And these units, these properties were built with probably separate hydro meters, maybe separate heating systems. Yep. and it makes, I'm telling you, it's the like.
Is there a limit though to how many people you can squeeze into a house? Say the house has 6 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, and I mean, is there a limit as to how many people you can legally have live there?
Well, you know what? I mean, there's a lot of duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes out there, and there's who knows how many people are living in them. But when they build these, I mean, I'm sure they're 2-bedroom units. You know, they're probably 3 to 4 people living in each unit. Again, I think the parking issue is going to be more of a big thing because most people, I mean, every person has a car.
Yep.
Every person has a car. So a husband and wife, they're both working. They have a car. And so there's 2 cars there. So if you got 4 units, and let's say there's a couple living in each unit, that's 8 cars in that one household. There's not enough parking in the driveway or even on the street. Like,
now, it might be a little different in the GTA, right? If you're downtown Toronto, that'd be different because not everybody needs a car.
That's right. That's right. I remember my cousin lived downtown Toronto. He didn't even renew his license when he was living down in downtown Toronto for a long time because he never needed it. He was like, because everything, he had access to everything from transit, like the subway, all that kind of stuff. Like he didn't. And but when he moved back, he had to reapply for his license. So. But yeah, you don't need downtown, but they are becoming. But you're going to see a lot of them in the Hamilton, Niagara area. You're going to see them. I think they're great. They're fantastic. I think they're great opportunities for investors to build, and I think they're they're awesome.
What's as we head into the next week here in 2024, what's the inventory like here? Because just anecdotally, completely, there's no scientific evidence to this. I drove around this week and I seem to see more for sale signs up than I had seen the week before, or maybe the week before that. Is that just wishful thinking on my part?
Yeah, no, there's still some that were left over from last year, and now houses are starting to come on. You're going to start seeing the inventory start climbing. The buyers haven't jumped in yet. They haven't jumped in. They will, and it's just, and I'll tell you, like it'll be like a light switch that went on when they start jumping in. But yeah, you're gonna see an influx of houses going up for sale because a lot of them didn't sell last year. They sat on the market, and they're gonna give it another shot again, coming up in the in the new year. Well, which we are in now, probably in February. But yeah, I've got a property that one of my properties I'm selling. And I was gonna put it up this week, but I'm gonna wait till next week to do it, and I'll probably put it up to middle to the end of next week. And I should have that sold because I'm pricing it right. I should have that sold within 10 days, hopefully.
Wow. Well, I mean, we're hoping for big things in this year. Happy New Year to you over the past little while. Hopefully you had a great holiday and you're feeling better now, Rob. But let's talk to people about if they want a home evaluation or if they want to get a sense of what it's like there right now in the market. Can they call you?
Absolutely. Have them. You can call me at 905-641-0308, or you can go to robgolfi.com, and we have a link there that you can fill out a form. And if you're thinking of buying or selling, or just email me at robgolfi@golfiteam.com. And we will answer you very quickly. And don't hesitate to call for a home evaluation. Get that opinion. I'm behind all the listings to make sure that they're priced right, to make sure they're not they're done right. So do not hesitate to contact us. I do want to earn your business, and I'd be very honored that you would call us.
And we want you back next week on the Golfi Real Estate Show. You can listen to the show online through YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in the Golfi Real Estate Show, or just wait next week. We'll be back same time, same place. Thanks, Rob. See you then.
Thank you.